Welcome to the very first episode of Kayfabe on Nayfabe, the wrestling podcast where we break down the kayfabe just enough to talk some real wrestling. We're just four lifelong wrestling fans, myself, Dawood, along with Stephen with a PH, Stephen
That's
with a
me.
V, and Riza, here to share our thoughts and argue over finishes, and to have a laugh, really. So we'll start off by doing some quick introductions. I'll start off with myself. So I was watching wrestling nonstop until the end of 2012. Then I took a long break and I got pulled back in when Cody Rhodes returned to WWE. I'm glad to be watching again and even gladder to be talking about it. And next we'll go with Stephen with the PH.
What's up? I'm Stephen with a PH. I've been watching wrestling for 2 decades now. Always going to be a lifelong Jeff Hardy fan. Let's go, Cena.
Nice. Now Stephen with the VE.
I've been a wrestling fan for 20 years. Started back up again ever since WWE came back onto Netflix properly. So I'm happy the way things are going. But yeah.
Cool. And Riza.
I've been a wrestling fan since as long as I can remember. I'm going back to probably the good old 2002 Ruthless Aggression era. Stopped watching wrestling for a while, around probably during the PG era, and I've just recently came back into it because I fell in love with the product again.
Okay, nice. Okay, so tonight on this episode, we're diving into Backlash. And personally for me, we'll get into everyone's opinions a bit later. It was a hit and miss. We had Gunther choke out Pat despite him trying his best. We had Lyra beat up Becky, but then Becky got salty and just fucking tagged her. Dom survived because of the greatest luchador of all time and some shenanigans from Judgment Day as usual. And Jacob Fatu walked out champ with some interesting backup, let's say. And, of course, Cena and Orton faced off for the 22nd time in a singles competition, but did it live up to the expectation? Okay, so we'll go match by match. Just to check, guys, can you see the video I'm sharing on Discord, just to make sure?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, everyone? Yep, cool. Okay, so first up is the fatal four-way of Jacob Fatu, Eddie Knight, Priest, and Drew McIntyre. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? So, I'll start off just with what did you guys think?
I'll go first. I thought it was a very entertaining fatal four-way. Probably one of the matches of the night, in my eyes. We knew this was getting put together anyway, because of Priest and Move McIntyre, and obviously LA Knight and Jacob Fatu. It's like two rivalries came into one. But yeah, all in all, I think a good fatal four-way. That's as much as I can say. On that forefront.
I'll go
Anyone
next.
else?
I thought it was a very standard fatal four-way, quite good. Get a lot of action everywhere. I hope Drew McIntyre is okay. I haven't heard anything else about his head. Obviously, the highlight is Jeff Cobb. Absolute madman that he's actually back now. He's in the Bloodline. Jacob Fatu is not happy. I take it in the summer. We'll be going for Solo and Jacob with Jeff Cobb in the mix. But yeah, standard fatal four-way. I think give it like a 7 out of 10. Obviously Jacob Fatu is the man right now, so let's go.
Okay, Stephen with the V.
I thought it was a decent match. Obviously, there were certain elements to it that really annoyed me, which was obviously interference once again. But it's one of those ones now when you watch stuff like this and you see Jacob Fatu, 9 times out of 10 you do see that Solo Sikoa will get involved somehow, which to me personally kind of ruins it, but also adds a little bit of element to it because you can see with all this crap that's happening. Obviously, Jacob Fatu is really starting to get the ump now with Solo Sikoa biting his nose in. But overall, it was a solid match. Both rivalries went obviously their separate ways in the arena. Drew and obviously Damian Priest went off to one side, done their thing. Obviously went through the table, which was brilliant. I thought that was excellent. Unfortunately, Drew McIntyre did obviously miss the table and hit his head off the floor, I believe. So obviously we're waiting for updates from that. Hopefully he's okay. But yeah, just overall in general, great match. Just a crap ending, really.
Kind of going on from that, did anyone have any favorite moments or any like spots that they liked?
Jeff Cobb.
Okay,
Jeff.
so yeah, Jeff Cobb. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I would have to say. I would have to agree with Stephen with a PH. Jeff Cobb was the highlight of this. Yeah. Totally
Fair enough. Okay. I mean, I just wanted to point out it was like, I think it was earlier in the match, and like each wrestler had like a chance to like show off their their moveset and stuff. I think pacing, everything was good. I think I agree with Stephen about the whole interference thing, but obviously like Stephen with PH said, there's going to be a bigger storyline coming, and yeah. Were there any bizarre moments for anyone? Like any like weird moments? But just question. Or like any moments where we had any botches? As far as I know, I think it was pretty clean. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was just that one botch.
Other than the Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Practically, that was the only thing that
That was it, yeah.
But apart from that match was clean as it came. So yeah,
cool.
Not a bad overall match.
Cool. Actually, yeah, just basically, I think Stephen. Well, from now on, instead of Stephen with the PH, I'll call you Stepping. So it's just easier. Okay. All right. So I think you gave it a 7 out of 10.
Steps.
Oh, yeah, that works too. Steps. So,
yeah, 7 out of 10.
Okay, Riza, have you got a score for that?
Yeah, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Fair. And Stephen, Mullen.
I would give it a 7 out of 10 as
cool.
well, to be honest.
Yeah, like
as I said, the one thing that ruined it for me was just the interference. But obviously, that's the way I am. I think interference overall just ruins it, because it's it's one of those ones, like obviously in the past you've had such top tier matches and then it just gets ruined by interference, and I'm just like, but yeah.
Okay. Are there any more last points anyone wants to make before we move on to the next match?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Okay, so next up was Lyra. Okay, that is just okay. Let's get back to the beginning. That was Lyra versus Becky. Yeah, same sort of format. What do we think? Let me just play the video. Obviously, this one you had Lyra win, and then you had the whole thing where Becky got angry. I'll just start off with my thoughts. I thought it was fine. I think there was like one. I don't know if anyone noticed. Video? Oh, can you hear it? Sorry. All right, sorry. We had like one weird moment where I think Lyra was going to go for a moonsault, and she got confused with the timing or something, and then she walked back to Becky for a pin. Apart from that, it was fine. But it was a fine match. I don't know where it's going to go next, to be honest. But yeah, if I had a score, I guess, I don't know, 6.5. To me, for me, like, they have anything special. But yeah, how about you guys?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a good match. Obviously, we know the background around this match is because of one, Bailey that was missing from this. So does that now indicate that this rivalry now going forward, is Bailey going to get involved in it in some capacity? Only time will tell. But the match was okay. Not a bad match. Both women played their part. I would give this one from my own perspective, a 6 out of 10. And it was good to see Lyra's fiance there as well, which I did not notice until they pointed out later on. So yeah.
Yeah, just a quick little side note. I think Steps had a point. That I mean, I think last night he made this point. I don't know if you want to make that point to, like now, but because when I heard it, I thought it was pretty funny.
What did I say?
Oh, about her fiance and like how.
Oh yeah, she's a wrestler.
Is he a wrestler? I didn't know.
Yeah, he's a wrestler. He wrestles in Japan. He wrestles all over the world.
Oh,
He's a big time wrestler.
I had
Oh, that's
no
interesting.
idea.
That's very
But
interesting.
yeah, I mean, so I think the comment that Stephen made was, "How is it that he can get a girl and
I'm still struggling.
That's amazing. Legit. I mean, but I mean, yeah, well, here you go. He's a wrestler. Okay. Who haven't said before? I think Steps and Stephen Mullen.
Yeah, so
yeah.
with this
When
match,
you're ready.
I do kind of feel like this match went on a little bit too long. I felt like there was just a time where it kind of felt like it was dragging. I did expect Becky to win, so I am actually pleasantly surprised. I'm not a fan of Becky Lynch these days. I feel like she's very, very overhyped and overpushed. Bailey would have been better in this position. But you know, hey ho. So I'm very glad Lyra won. Don't know who will beat her if it's not Becky. But yeah, give it a 6 out of 10. I guess they're gonna have a rematch. The rematch isn't justified, but this is Triple H's booking. So yeah, look forward to the rematch.
Okay. And last we have Mullen, sorry.
To be honest with you, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't really watch the match that much.
Fair enough.
I just paid more attention to my phone because this was a match that didn't really interest me. It's one of those ones. It's like I just need one of the matches to catch my attention. This didn't do it. So obviously I looked up every now and again, and some of the bits I've seen, it was okay. The only thing that I will say is that I don't think that it finished the way it meant to. That's all I'm going to say. Because obviously the way that it ended was, how did she go up for one move, but then all of a sudden she changed her mind and went for a roll up? That kind of made no sense to me. So I was a bit like, okay, so something's gone wrong here. They had to end the match quickly. That's what I think that's happened.
Yeah, go on.
I do feel like there was a botch because of the way that Lyra pinned Becky. That might be just me, but I think there was a bit of surprising. We will only find out from days to come if that was, it's the way she pinned her. It's a bit of a surprise,
I am ready to go back to it. Or hair.
Yeah.
Sorry, so, one second. Play out.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah.
No, it's not that. It's not that.
Oh, wait, which one are you talking about?
No,
the one that she actually gets the pinfall.
Oh yeah, no, I think hair just skips. Yeah, right. Is he beating up her? Yeah, never mind. I think the highlights is not there, but
yeah, it skips it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's just the way that roll up happened. It was just like really, really bad. Obviously, yeah. I think it's because something about her nose, but I can't remember if that happened before or after the pin. So that probably might have been the reason as to why. But yeah, overall match, as I said, I didn't really watch it, but yeah, I'll do like 4 out of 10.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. So next up we had Dom and Penta for the Intercontinental title singles match. I would start off again. I thought it was good. Like, I think we had some good spots from Penta. Like that beginning spot from Dom and that big DDT was like solid. I enjoyed that. Yeah, obviously we had the interference from the greatest luchador of all time, El Grande Americano. Which was like whatever, but yeah, obviously interested to see where it leads. And obviously the whole thing with Judgment Day, they got involved, they usually do. But yeah, no, I thought it was a solid match for what it was. Like nothing like amazing, or yeah. If anything, if I had to give it a score, I'd say like, I don't know, like a 6. It was fine for what it was. But yeah, yeah. What about you guys? We'll start off with Riza.
Yeah, I think so. I would have given 2 ratings for this match. So it's the DDT at the beginning and the oblivion that Dom gave Dom gave Penta, sorry. Obviously in homage of, Daddy Dom. If those 2 moves didn't happen, I would have given the match a 6. But because those 2 moves happened in the match, I gave it 6.5. As stated, that DDT was very clean, and obviously paying homage to Liv with the Oblivion. We also definitely know that it's going towards, as we know, the greatest luchador is now getting involved in a feud. It's going to be with El Grande Americano and Penta. We know it's leading to that, and obviously we now know that we're getting the tension now. At some point, it's going to happen sooner rather than later. With obviously, Finn and Dom. But overall, yeah, I will give it a 6.5.
Okay, fair enough. Next, steppings or steps.
I really like this match. I think Dirty Dom is a living legend to the maximum. I think he's going to be a huge babyface past this summer. But yeah, no, it was standard match. I mean, every other match has interference except for the women's match. So this is just another one where we expected interference from the Judgment Day. Finn Balor got involved, hurting Dirty Dom, helping Dirty Dom, which is all fantastic. Penta, I mean, I don't know how I feel about it because he's losing quite a lot recently and he's only just come in not too long ago. But that's a subject for a different day. El Grande Americano and Chad Gable will make the best tag team once they officially become one. But yeah, Dirty Dom for the win. 7 out of 10 for the match. So very, very solid. So yeah, Dirty Dom, let's go.
Okay, and lastly, Mullen.
You know what? I ain't gonna lie. I was actually really excited for this match, and to be honest, it was really good. I enjoyed it. Do you know what the thing is? I can't stand Dominik Mysterio. I've never really liked him. Obviously, that's the way it's meant to be. You're not meant to like him. The only thing I will say is that he's a good in-ring performer. Obviously, the back and forth those two had. Obviously, the outside DDT that he done, that was superb. Penta with the Mexican Destroyer on the apron. That was like they actually managed to pull that off. I was really shocked. Obviously, I knew that at some point the Judgment Day would get involved, and once again you can see that the Judgment Day is starting to break down slowly due to Finn Balor obviously clashing with the other members. So I think somewhere down the line, obviously them guys are going to break up, and it's just going to be one massive burst between the whole lot of them. El Grande Americano, aka Chad Gable, getting involved and obviously attacking Penta, which is now going to set up for something between those two down the line. Overall, good match. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. To be honest, it's probably I'd have to say it's probably my favorite match on the card.
Okay, speaking on the Judgment Day, so where do you think the story is going to go? Like, obviously we know about Finn and that tension with Dom, but like, what do you think is going to happen?
I reckon at some point it's going to get to a boiling point between the whole lot of them, and it's just going to like be one massive brawl, and it's going to end up being Finn Balor against Dom for the title. Maybe I'd say SummerSlam. But it's one of those ones. I'd like. Obviously, I'd love to see it, but I think to top it off, I would love to see Demon Finn Balor back at SummerSlam. I would love that. Honestly, that would be a highlight.
Okay. Basically, what Step said. Yeah, he's got a point about never gonna happen, because basically, I think as far as I heard about with the Demon, like he's only be reserved for big moments because he's kind of overused. So
correct.
I don't know.
But
yeah,
with my problem with the Demon is the last time he was the Demon, he lost to Roman Reigns on that turnbuckle thing when it broke.
Yeah.
And when he faced Edge at Hell in the Cell, he didn't even bring the Demon back then. So I think it's done.
That's a fair point. I think
because if you have to bring the Demon to take down Dirty Dom, but not Edge, there's a problem.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, because speaking about this whole breakup or breakdown of the Judgment Day, I think Stats had a good point about AJ Styles and Finn. Last night.
I don't know how that will work, because Finn will have to be the babyface, and it looks like Dirty Dom is going to be the babyface. But I think Finn. I mean, you could do Finn and JD McDonough, but AJ just seems a little too involved in Judgment Day again. I'm sure we did this feud already. So
we did.
to have AJ again come with the Judgment Day, there must be something.
If I'm not mistaken, I think this feud was the AJ and Finn feud was in my calculations, about not even 2 years ago. So yes,
No, yeah,
it sounds
less
about
than
right.
that, yeah.
Okay, so we shall see. We shall see.
Seo miedo.
Zero miedo. Okay. Oh, so this was for me kind of
This
a
is going to be
surprise because
interesting.
yeah. To be honest, let's mute that sound there. So next up, it was Pat McAfee versus Gunther in a singles match. Story behind it, obviously, Gunther lost the world title, and Michael Cole, he was just doing commentating, isn't it? But then Gunther's salty about it, so he was like, "I'll come here, bro. Let me choke you out." And then Pat's like, "Nah, bro," but he got choked out. And then obviously that's out this match. I thought it was really solid. Like, I thought Pat, he performed really well. Like, there were a lot of good spots. I think at certain moments, basically, I think it was like at the end, there was a moment where like Pat was choking out Gunther, and I thought at that point it was like, I mean, obviously they wouldn't do it, but like I had a weird feeling that they would maybe have Pat choke out Gunther. Didn't happen, obviously, but as I said, I think Pat, he had a good performance, and obviously storyline wise, we had obviously Gunther paid respect. He was like, "Oh, good job, bro." But yeah, for me that was a 7 out of 10, solid. And I think what I loved about the match was I guess we had interference, but I guess for a story, it made sense for Michael Cole. But yeah, I thought that was a surprise for me because, I mean, just because obviously I haven't watched wrestling for like, obviously I think it's like 10 years. So obviously it's with Pat McAfee and him wrestling. I need no idea. I kind of very small idea of how he was doing. But yeah, I thought that was great. Yeah, whoever wants to jump in next, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what they done with Gunther. Obviously, at WrestleMania was he lost to Jay, and we know he got made tap out. Now, what does this mean for his character development going forward? Now, we know this was going to be a squash match to make Gunther look strong again, but obviously now we know where does this now is this? I think this rivalry now done. It seems like it. The big question now is, are they now going to what direction are they going to push Gunther? Now we're hearing rumors going around, obviously with Goldberg. Now that might be true, that might not be true, but I only time will tell, because with Gunther, very good potential, but getting tapped out like that, and obviously now going back to he basically, this was a squash match, but very good in terms, because shows you what Pat McAfee can actually do if he really wants to. But that's just my opinion. But I mean, overall, yeah, if I had to give a rating on this one, I'd give it 6.5 out of 10.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Next, Steppings, Mullen, whoever.
So with me, with this match, I've got two different opinions. One
Okay.
is my initial opinion. Two is the opinion that I have gained from reading online comments, and I'll explain what that means. Obviously, I was watching the match on video call with you, Dawood, last night, and it was very fun, very, very fun. I will say, Riza, I do not think this was a squash. I think this was complete opposite of a squash, because there was a lot of
Yeah.
offense. So my initial opinion is it was a very good match. I personally loved it when Michael Cole got involved, grabbing the leg and all of that. I think that would have been a good way to have Gunther lose. I wouldn't have minded, but I'm glad he won anyways. But my second opinion comes from the online comments, which I didn't really think about at the start. This guy
Okay.
was the world heavyweight champion a month ago, and he is struggling against a commentator. I kind of understand where people are getting that mindset from. This is Gunther. He basically had a similar match with Pat McAfee than he did with Cody Rhodes in Saudi Arabia. Obviously not the same match, but back and forth, good match. This should have been a squash. It should have been brutal. Yeah, I feel like it went on too long. It was fun initially, but I think looking back on it, I think it was the completely wrong way to go with the match. Should have been a squash, but at least Gunther won.
That is a very fair point. Mullen, to follow up on that.
I don't know really. To be honest with you, it's another one that I found quite a bit of a joke. To be honest, and obviously, like, I understand a lot of people's opinions. Maybe like, all different to obviously mine, but I just don't think this match really needed to be there. I just don't get it. Really, all they done was basically made Gunther look like a big bully the whole entire time. That's pretty much all they've done. They don't really need to go for that because the thing is before he lost to obviously Jey Uso at WrestleMania, he was dominating people left, right, and center. So it's one of those ones we know that's going to happen anyway. And then they just put him in a ring with a fucking commentator. Sorry for my language, but yeah, they put him in a ring with a commentator with a guy that's barely wrestled. And I'm just like, I just don't know. It's an okay match. There was, as you guys said, there is some spots that were decent, like Pat McAfee doing a bloody backflip from obviously a suplex, and I was like, wow. I was like, okay, cool. And then you have the bit where he's jumping over the rope and he trips, and it's just like, I found that quite funny. But overall, it's okay. It's okay. I liked it, and but yeah, I'll give it probably like a 6 out of 10. Only for certain.
I'll give it a 5.
Yeah, fair enough.
For certain parts of the match, like obviously the back and forth between them two for the chops and stuff, I thought that was okay. Yeah, it's just I was expecting something to happen to Michael Cole. That's all I'm saying.
Fair.
I was expecting him to get chopped to absolute high heaven.
I mean, we didn't have that, but I think that would have been quite entertaining. But I think, kind of speaking of Gunther, that's a very good point. I think what Steven said, Steppings, about Gunther and like the kind of character he's supposed to be, and this match he's in now, it's like, yeah, it's quite jarring to see like that transition, I guess. But at the same time, I think we've kind of talked about this before about booking and how many people you have within the company. It's like but the question is, what can they do with Gunther? Anyone, just jump in.
I mean, there's a lot they could probably do, but it's just who they could put him up against. I personally think now, I think one person they might end up putting him up against, this is a really, really long shot, is Rusev.
That's a good point.
I think that would be a great matchup because they're both powerhouses. They both struggle to stay down, and yeah, I just think those two would be an absolute banger of a match if done correctly.
Yeah, I mean, I got to agree with that.
Well,
I mean, I've got to agree with what Stephen Mullen is saying. I think that would be a great match. Obviously, going back to my original comment, I mean, there's rumors going around, obviously, with the pending arrival of a retirement match with Goldberg. Only time will tell with that. But they do need to do something with Gunther because it's what Steven Steppins did say about a month ago. He was the world heavyweight champion, and for him to lose the way he lost, it's like they've dropped his momentum down from like 100 to 0 in a small amount of time. So, I mean, only time will tell. I mean, we're probably going to find out tomorrow night on Raw what direction Gunther is going to go for, his next program. But, yeah, I mean, this Pat McAfee rivalry, it looks like it's done.
Yeah, that makes sense. Steps, have you got any thoughts about Gunther and where he could go from this?
I mean, Goldberg that's definitely what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, who wins that? I mean, that's a topic for a different day. But yeah, it's very, 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 very weird scenario because it's most likely going to happen at Saudi because you know how the Goldberg always booked for Saudi.
Yeah.
But after that, I've just got no idea. Maybe when the draft happens, you can move him to SmackDown. You could do Cena and Gunther. To be honest, you could.
But yeah, I think that's interesting.
Good, you might, but then Hill versus Hill, so maybe not. But yeah, no, I mean Goldberg is next, and I just really hope Triple H makes Gunther the monster that he used to be.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, so the main event. Obviously. Oh, sorry about the sound, guys. We had Orton versus Cena.
One thing.
Sure, go for it.
So just a quick one. Sorry, before you go on to Cena, I know it sounds really, really crazy, but can you imagine if they just done like took Gunther out for a while and bring him back with like a new overhaul of like a different look, like a skinhead or something, and it's just like it's this massive powerhouse that's just taking down everybody. Like I think that would be quite funny. I ain't gonna lie, it's just a stupid idea, but I think it's funny.
It's basically what you're saying is like bring him back to take him off TV, bring him back, but it'd be like going back to his original persona being Walter. Which he dominated more under us, if I'm not mistaken.
What about possibly a feud going into the summer after Goldberg? If Gunther loses to Goldberg, what if Ludwig Kaiser starts getting at Gunther and going, "Why aren't you winning? You losing this, losing that," and then you have them two go at it.
That'd be good.
That is a very good point.
Because honestly, I'm a big fan of Ludwig Kaiser. I love his promos. I think he's fantastic on the mic. I think he's very underrated. I would actually want him to beat Gunther. I think he can be a star. He's a future mid-card champion, I believe. So 100%. Hopefully, man, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we are all at the mercy of the booking of Triple H. So we'll see where we go. We'll see where we go. Now, okay, let's go right to the next match. We had Orton versus Cena. As I said earlier, it's the 22nd time that they faced off. These guys are goats of the company and in wrestling in general. And I think the match was to be expected. I think last night me and Stats were making a joke. Well, he made a joke about how many headlocks, how many freaking chokes are we going to see, and we saw a lot. Typically, obviously, but to be expected. These guys are, I don't know, I think late 40s. I don't even know how old they are, to be honest, but
something like that, early late 43, 44ish, I'd say.
Yeah, but to be honest, for their age, they look pretty good in the ring, to be honest. Yeah, I thought it was fine. Obviously, I think there was one moment it didn't make sense to me when, obviously, I think when the second ref got knocked out, and like obviously, you know, Nick Aldis and the guys from the back came to check on the ref. That never happens. Obviously, I get why it happened. Like that set up that moment for Orton to, you know, go mad and RKO everyone. Obviously, we did see Orton RKO Aldis again, so hopefully that leads somewhere. But yeah, I thought it was like kind of standard. I mean, to the finish, yeah, he obviously used the belt to take him out. And then it just ended with I think what I didn't expect, he got on the mic and come what he said, but basically he did a promo, and I thought overall it was fine. It looked solid. I think one thing that we have all had an issue with is the fact that finishes aren't finishes anymore. It's like we saw so many RKOs, so many actual adjustments. We had so many things, but obviously, you know, kickouts galore. I don't know what's going on there. It's like, because I remember back in the day, it's like a finisher was a finisher. So I don't know if they just have to be more creative. But I guess that's another point that we can talk about at some point. But yeah, I thought it was solid. I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, when you guys might jump in, I guess we'll start out with steppings. Change it up.
Me? Okay, yeah, sure. So this match for me personally is a dream. I loved their feud in 2009. I know a lot of people don't, but I was just a young kid growing up who hated John Cena. I loved it when Randy Orton was his sadistic side. Before we continue, John Cena is 48 and Randy Orton is 45. Nuts.
Right.
Going back on that first thing that you said, Dawood, about that everyone coming out when the referees were knocked out, I hated that with a passion. That has literally never happened before in any wrestling company, any show, anywhere else, even the indies that we've attended live, that has never happened. So this, it's very incredibly forced. I have no idea why they did that. There was no need to do that. You could have just had a different way of doing it, but yeah. Funny moment, if anyone noticed, when Randy Orton drank the Prime, he said it was horrible. So I'm not a Randy Orton fan anymore. Hashtag drink Prime. Come on. But no, it was a very good match for what it was, of course. It's very sad that this will be the last time that we see them wrestle. And this is literally our childhood. But yeah, so John Cena said at the end that this was the last real champion. This is what a last real champion looks like. I do think Cena's going to retire with the championship. And R-Truth getting involved, fantastic.
Yes,
absolutely brilliant. And then obviously R-Truth got AA through the press conference table. So we're going to be getting that at Saturday night's main event by the looks of it. But yeah, I'd give it a 5, 6 out of 10. Looks like CM Punk will be next after R-Truth. So yeah, let's see.
Okay. Riza, your thoughts?
Well, okay. So it goes back to I've got mixed feelings. So out of the two best rivalries that I've ever seen from John Cena, obviously being John Cena versus Edge and John Cena versus Randy Orton. The match was okay. Some high. Fun fact, guys. I don't know if you know, but I was doing a little research. John Cena's final televised appearance for WWE. Guess where it is?
Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah, so that'd be a very interesting sort of, a goodbye from him. The greatest of all time, one of the greatest of all time. But yeah, I mean, overall, match was okay. This is the last time we're ever going to see them. This is now obviously going to lead to Randy Orton versus Nick Aldis. It's going back to what Steven Steppers was saying about, John Cena now looks like what we all wanted. What we were all talking about internally, about obviously John Cena and R-Truth now. I mean, we will get to that part in a little while. But there were some good moments in this. I love the point where, Randy Orton gave an AA to Randy Orton. Randy Orton gave AA to John Cena on the table. John Cena getting reversed. He's doing his AA to Randy and Randy reversing into the RKO. I always love that. Overall, match was okay. Not one of their best matches out of the 22 matches that they've done, as Dawood said at the beginning. But yeah, I mean, it's the two greatest to ever do it, having one last moment together. Well, yeah, I mean, in terms of John Cena's run. But if I had to give it a rating, yeah, I'll probably give it not their best match, but always good to see them two together. 6 out of 10.
Okay, and last time, Mullen, what were your thoughts, mate?
Overall, I thought it was a good match. Obviously, going back to what was said earlier about how finishers are no longer finishers anymore, I agree. It's ridiculous of how many AAs and RKOs that can be given, and they could just kick out. It's just becoming a bit dry now for it to constantly be the same thing over and over again.
It was the same thing in the Becky and Lyra match. Boring. Becky hit like 3 finishes on Lyra, and she still kicked out.
Yeah.
I find it so boring. I find it so boring. It's one of those ones like it's like playing a WWE game on legend difficulty and having to hit that many finishes for a kick out kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's what it kind of feels like. It kind of feels like a fucking simulation. Yeah. Apart from that, overall good match. Obviously. Yeah, just Cena being him. I don't think this heel turn is going that great. I really don't.
We'll get into that.
Because as obviously we've said before outside of this podcast, obviously as Steven Steppins has said, basically the fans are cheering Cena instead of booing him. That is not what is meant to happen with a heel. You're meant to get booed to hell. Look at Dominik Mysterio, for example. He is your ideal heel right now in that company. Not Cena.
Yeah.
Because every time Dom enters that ring, the whole entire crowd boo him to madness. Same as Logan Paul. He gets booed to hell. But yet...
No, I'm interrupting it. You can't include that. Logan is a scumbag.
Yeah. I mean,
what I'm saying,
okay, wait. Yeah, go on.
But what I'm saying is, obviously, as a heel, yes, he's getting booed. That's fine. But yet, seen as a heel, and he's not getting booed, he's getting cheered. It just makes no sense. So I personally think that I feel like they've left this heel turn go on for way too late for him. But yeah. With regards to obviously the referees getting knocked out, it was one of those ones you could see it was going to happen. And for the people coming down to see the second referee, I've never seen that in the 20 years that I've watched wrestling. It's nothing that's ever been seen before. it just shocked me. And like as soon as I see people come running out, I literally just turned away and I was like, what is going on? Why are you having people come out? The only thing that should be coming down that ramp is another bloody referee so that he can count the match and get it over and done with. That just makes no sense. It's just crazy. Another thing, with Randy Orton, once again, we keep getting teased for this punt kick, and
yeah,
I so just want to see him do it. Do you know what? I love the punt kick. I think it's brilliant, and I just wanted to see him do it. Really, it's just so frustrating for him to keep getting stopped every time that he's doing it.
Okay, so let me ask: if Randy Orton wants to hit the punt kick, do you think there's anyone on the roster he can hit that punt kick to that will make him turn heel? Because I think even if he hits this with that punt kick, I think fans will still cheer him.
That's a good question.
So yeah, maybe they're waiting for a punt to actually turn him heel. Who could it be? Cody?
that is good. That's a good question.
Probably,
that's the only ideal.
Probably be like a triple threat match or something, can it? Like I know it sounds really stupid, but have a triple threat between Cody, Randy, and Cena at SummerSlam or something, and then like obviously Cena bloody rolls out of the way, and then obviously no one else is left in the ring except for Cody, and just freaking Randy just runs and boots him in the head and ends it there, and then just walks out or something and leaves him laying there in the middle of the ring and lets Cena do his thing.
Very good points.
Yeah.
Very good points. I mean, since we're still talking about a match, about Cena's heel turn, can they change so basically, I guess the question is, so can they save the heel turn at this point? Just
no.
No.
Okay.
They can, but not possible.
Okay.
Like there's ways they can do, but no,
Yeah.
I think it's too late.
I think it's done.
Yeah, I mean, it's too much of Cena against the fans rather than Cena becoming against the wrestlers. I mean, we've already talked about this, outside internally. I mean, it was great when it started. I mean, we've all got mixed feelings. Obviously, when this did go down at the Elimination Chamber, I thought it was brilliant. But I thought, John Cena, if they were gonna do this heel, they would have got rid of the music. In all honesty, they would have got rid of the merchandise. It's too much repetitiveness with that. I mean, if you're going to be a heel guy, you can't still have the same tops. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say? And the same music.
Yeah.
I think
switch it up.
This is where the problem comes in, because this John Cena heel turn wasn't planned for this retirement tour. It wasn't until The Rock came in and tried to screw things up, and then they've turned him heel. So I know the merchandise, that's one thing, but when it comes to like the music and that, John Cena literally said that's what we wanted. We wanted him to get new theme song. We wanted him to do it all. And now I like it that he didn't do it for that specific reason, because it's true.
Well, like I said, I mean, look, we've got the feelings about obviously going back to what happened at the Elimination Chamber, and obviously with this, we've got the feeling of what The Rock done, but to go back to the original question, can this be saved? It can, but it's going to the point that if it doesn't get saved now, it's not. There's no point of continuing this. In all honesty, there isn't with this Cena heel turn. Because as I said, it's Cena against the fans when it should be Cena, doing this proper. As we know that it could be. I mean, if it had gone on as we wanted at the Elimination Chamber, this would have been perfect. But one person unfortunately decided to back out of it. So
wanted to do films instead.
We'll get onto go on. That's fine.
The one thing that I thought would be a good little touch to end obviously John Cena's last run in WWE, obviously as this is his last year. I personally thought it would have been a brilliant send off. Well, not kind of send off, but like if he was to turn heel, obviously like he did at Elimination Chamber, and basically lose to Cody at WrestleMania. Okay, now obviously that would have been a massive upset for him, which obviously would have angered him a lot. And then obviously he would have climbed his way up to try and get back to the title. And then obviously what you'd have to do is you'd have to win the Money in the Bank. Okay, then that time he has the perfect opportunity to cash in at any time he wants, which then whoever will be holding the title will have to watch their backs at all time. Obviously, he could do sort of like having music play here and there and just basically scaring the current champion. And then obviously ends up being CM Punk ends up winning the WWE Championship, goes off on basically a massive match between CM Punk and maybe like Cody Rhodes or something. And then obviously CM Punk retains. He's pretty much down on his luck and he's like pretty much knackered and battered and bruised. And then Cena cashes in, pins him, and basically walks out with the title, starting again with a new title to be introduced, because obviously it was stating about scrapping this current championship to bring in possibly a new one. I think that was possibly would have been a good storyline to do, but it's a little bit stupid. But it could have made sense if they done it a certain way.
Yeah, well, that's fair. That's fair. Just to wrap up our thoughts on Backlash. Do we Backlash podcast as well? Do we have an MVP of the night, like the stand-up performer?
Michael Cole.
Actually, that's a good shout.
Honestly, Michael Cole, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, it's like just in general, he's like one of the MVPs of 100%.
If Gunther went to attack someone like Corey Graves or was it Joe Testator, whatever his name is, you wouldn't have had the same. You wouldn't have had the same feelings as it is as Michael Cole. So
even Wade Barrett.
Did this.
Yeah,
exactly. Even Wade Barrett, we'd still have more sympathy for Michael Cole than Wade Barrett. It's true.
100%.
We love Michael Cole.
Fair point. Okay. Do we have a match of the night?
No, I mean, honestly, no. I think that were just all solid.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, I guess I think we kind of had this thought as well. Like it's a PLE. Yeah, we only got 5 matches, which is like
it is what it is. It's the same formula now.
But yeah,
it's basically I mean, it's the WrestleMania after. I mean, it's the pay-per-view after WrestleMania. So it's going to be all the fallout. So
this is where I wouldn't have minded if Gunther lost. Right here, this was cool.
Yeah, right there. That was
cool. Yeah, this was cool.
Yeah, that would have been a good time.
Legend.
Do you ever think we'll see Michael Cole in the leotard again?
No, please no. Maybe during his Hall of Fame speech.
That would be hilarious if we did, but
no, we won't.
What do we think of so before we finish, let's just end of John Cena's next opponent behind R-Truth. CM Punk.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's the only.
No, I mean he's put it on Instagram. He's going after Cena next.
He's going to be the obvious. He's going to be the obvious thing. I mean, we all want to.
It's got to happen at Money in the Bank.
We all want to see that
Money in the Bank.
That's it. It's basically an anniversary from one of their one of their greatest matches that they had at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So it just makes perfect sense to culminate that in their anniversary. So it's going to happen. I mean we got R-Truth next, and then it's going to be the summer of Cena and Punk.
Summer of Punk and Cena.
That's what I'm saying. Which is
my bad.
Great
Money
for
Bank
us.
2011. Not 2013. I don't know why that match was. I don't know
2013,
why. But yeah, 2011.
4 years ago, man. No, it was 20. It was 2011. Yes, it was.
It was 2011.
Yeah.
It was 2011.
Yeah. I don't know why. But I had
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
14 years ago, CM Punk gave a Blue a kiss and walked out.
Love that.
And
love that
this
moment.
is what I actually love that moment. To do to CM Punk. I want him to sit on that.
Solidify his status with this heel turn.
That's what I meant. That's the sort of thing that I wanted him to do, was to win the Money in the Bank, cash in, and walk out like CM Punk did 14 years ago.
He still can. Well, not cash in, but he can still win against CM Punk and blow that kiss and walk away with the title.
That'd be such a fitting end to his story.
I think they're going to do it. I do think they're going to do it. They have to.
Just really quick, basically in a reference to our name, do we think this event was Kayfabe, as in being well told and strong booking, or Nayfabe, like too much chaos, bad finishes? I think it was kayfabe. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I will agree.
I'd say
Okay,
mix.
fair
I'd say both. I'd say both.
That's fair. Yeah, it was like I think we had opinions on certain spots or certain things that
Yeah.
didn't make sense.
Yeah, both.
But yeah, so basically about what you were saying, we just to check on timing. Yeah, I think we're fine on time. But basically, the next segment is kind of like a wild card segment. So I think you kind of went into it with your kind of fantasy booking of like what you wish to happen. But yeah, in this segment, just if you have any other thoughts that are lingering in your head or anything you want to mention about like the event or in general, like Raw and SmackDown, NXT, whatever, just yeah, go for it.
R.I.P. Sabu.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. Yeah.
Special
Yes.
mention.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Sabu.
Yeah, obviously, I think most of us, well, we all know he was a legend in ECW and he had a lot of mad moments. And to be fair, like I think who made this point? I don't know. I think it was you, Steps, about like he was like I think he was 61 or something.
He was
Right?
60.
I don't know. Yeah, 60.
He was
And
60.
like despite all that he did, like he did live that life, so that's fair. But yeah. R.I.P.
The thing is, he had not long recently had his last match as well, which
So-
was
in
true
recently,
Sabu fashion,
Yep.
was
It
a
was,
hardcore
yeah.
match.
Yep.
And
that
he went
if
head first into barbed wire.
that match is on Chiller TV apparently, so you can watch it.
Cool.
If you've got an app.
I was going to say,
We basically here at Kayfabe and Nayfabe, we give our sincere condolences to the Sabu family. I mean, that's all we can really say.
That's right.
Yeah, indeed.
Put your fingers up to the sky, my boys.
Yes, fingers up to the sky.
Yes.
Yeah. Are there any other thoughts on any other kind of storylines that are still pending? Well, I mean, I think obviously we have Cody, but I guess we'll see what we'll do with that. But has anyone
I'm
got any
interested.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting now because obviously he's been advertised as SmackDown this week, according to resources. So obviously he's not going to be involved in anything to do with title now for a while. So that'll be interesting to see what direction he goes into. Following WrestleMania. And I can't think of anything right now. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but
I mean, I remember. I think there was an interview with Rock and Pat McAfee, and something about a heel turn being in there. I don't know if that's going to happen in the future, but
In his last match.
okay,
that's not going to happen right now.
Double turn.
Cody
Cody will destroy Cena, and obviously Rock wants to do it. We will see a double turn. Cody will join heel with the Rock with the black hair, get rid of the blonde hair, and
yeah, that's going to happen somewhere down the line, but not right now. It's probably going to be going, as we know, probably towards the end of the year.
I think right now, I mean, what can Cody do? That's the black man.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
that is the problem because what program is he going to get into? I mean, as I said, he's been mentioned for SmackDown advertised, so it'll be interesting to see. In the coming
I'm
weeks.
interested to see the reaction he gets.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point. Obviously, it's like in the match with Cena at WrestleMania, it was like
he was getting booed.
Yeah, actually, I think we can speak about this next point about like people who were supposed to be booed, like getting cheered, and also the other way around. It's like I guess that is a point about the booking lately. It's not been great.
Yeah.
Don't know what's going on.
Which I'm going to mention something in a minute about that, but yeah.
Is there anything
One point
else?
I'd like to make, I've seen
go on.
a quick rumor that there's going to be a mask versus mask match at SummerSlam between Penta and El Grande Americano. So I think it's very, very silly that they're going to unmask Penta. This is so bad. I think this Chad Gable will help El Grande Americano win. It's obvious, but to unmask Penta this quickly is absolutely ridiculous.
See, this is the thing.
Wait, is that actually a thing?
Huh?
No, wait. So, like you said about Penta getting unmasked.
Yeah. You can't
Really?
have the GOAT, El Grande Americano, get unmasked. He is a lucha legend. You will not unmask him on WWE TV. Penta is nowhere near the legendary status of El Grande Americano. So,
exactly.
Yes, Penta will obviously get unmasked, and I'm not a fan of this. But Chad Gable will help El Grande Americano win. Chad Gable and El Grande for tag team champions.
Yes, soon,
Yes.
hopefully. I had a point. So, have you guys been keeping up with the whole thing, like about carrying Cross? Obviously, he did that promo. I think was it Raw? Yeah. But like, do you think there's any space for him right now, or is he just going to be just hanging out, doing promos for a while?
Hanging out.
Yeah,
And it's such a shame.
It's
such a shame because obviously that man has got so much talent, in my personal opinion, and like the way that his character can be portrayed, and like if you watch that interview, like whether it's scripted or not, but you can see the bloody like passion that man poured into that microphone that night. It's crazy, and it's such a shame to see because Karrion Kross is. I think he is such a great performer, and the fact that he's not getting utilized like he should is just crazy. Honestly,
I want them to move Karrion Kross the way like they had his character from NXT.
Yeah,
in that sort of
I don't know. I feel like Karrion Kross has gone in a different direction than like the Killer Cross version. You know, I don't know. Apparently, that interview he did was like a worked shoot, and if that's true, then that means Triple H must have some confidence in him. But again, with John Cena, Orton, Punk, Priest, McIntyre, all these lot, I just don't see Karrion Kross having a chance.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was going to say on that point, I think that's the good and bad about having a lot of good talent and like not having space for everyone.
Well, it was what I think Dawood, you said last night, like as a joke, like WWE need a fourth brand at this point.
Yeah, at this point, because otherwise you won't have the space. Honestly, it's like it is a bit insane. But then
this is probably the greatest time that they've got a good set of crop talent. Probably I'm going to say in the last 20 years, at least minimum.
Yeah,
like this set of good crop talent.
But I think just the point to follow up is to be able to utilize that talent properly. 100%. Like one of those things where it's just like I think who was it? He steps out a point about Becky Lynch. Like it's one of those things where we wouldn't know what she can do. I think her and Charlotte, for example, they're like, you know, they have been in like stories for a while and stuff, and it's just one of those things where it feels like, I guess more so for Charlotte, it's like she got shoved down our throats. It's one of those things. Well, I mean, like not just now, for a lot of years. So I don't know. Again, I think it comes down to the booking and Triple H. It's like it seemed like in the beginning when he did have control, he did obviously, you know, we had an amazing finish to a story last year that was at WrestleMania, and it's like since then I don't know what's happened, but yeah, I don't know if it's a thing. Actually, I think you could talk about this, the whole beef between like Triple H and The Rock, what's going on backstage. I don't know if that's affecting things, but yeah, something's happening.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think The Rock has really messed things up royally, I think, for Triple H, and it's thrown him off a bit. I honestly think this John Cena heel turn, Triple H is going week by week.
Yes.
Yes, what it feels
totally
like.
Agree.
Okay, let me just see if I think if we don't have any more points to make, anything, I think we'll sign off there.
I've got one thing to say. Sorry,
go for it.
Just
no
quickly.
worries.
I think obviously with certain matches being booked, I think it's a bit naff. Obviously, the one thing that really truly pissed me off was obviously WrestleMania. You have the New Day against the Viking Raiders, or whatever it's called, I can't remember. For the title,
the War Raiders. Yeah.
That match made no sense to me. It really didn't. The fact is they put that match on the card. The night before, I think, or the following Friday, the week after, they had that fatal 4-way or triple threat, in a TLC match for the tag team titles, which absolutely blew the roof off. And yes. I must admit, it's probably one of the best matches I've seen in a very, very long time. But the fact is that they chose to have that on a SmackDown over being it on WrestleMania. I
Yeah, we-
personally think that match on WrestleMania would have been way better than what
Oh yeah,
he did with the New Day.
definitely.
No,
100%.
definitely 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't get how they come up with that idea. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Again, we'll see if the book improves. And I guess the next thing to do is just wait until Raw and see what happens. But yeah, I think that is a wrap on our first episode. Yeah, thank you for listening. This has been Kayfabe, this has been the Kayfabe or Nayfabe podcast. I've been Dawood.
I've been Stephen. Steps.
I'll be Stephen.
And I've been Riza.
And we will see you next time. Thank you for listening.
And you will hear us next time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
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 Okay, actually, 1 sec. On 3, can we all shout Kayfabe and Nayfabe?
Alright,
We
ready?
try. All right, 1, 2, 3. Kayfabe
Kayfabe
or
or
Nayfabe?
Nayfabe.
That was so bad. It's fine. We'll leave it there.